great to see him come back. Speaking of that, Robbie, so you were able to come back when Coach Knight came back?
I did. I had an opportunity to get back for that event, and it was really exciting and emotional, to be honest with you, because I think all of us were hopeful that at some point, as Coach continues to get older, that he would return. It means so much, not just to us as players. And I know AJ was pushing hard for him to come back when he got inducted into the Indiana Hall of Fame. It didn't happen. And then it just, there's so many people having still lived here and still living here in the state. He still connects to so many different people. I mean, that the stories that you hear about Indiana basketball are generally tied to Coach. And so for him to come back, and I don't know that he really understands the impact that it means for a lot of fans throughout the state. It was really, really powerful.
Yeah, Indiana was successful before Bob Knight with 2 national championships, but you're right. That 30-year period, 3-decade period, it was the advent of TV, of all the things that you put all into the motion. Those 3 national titles, always in the mix, winning. It made Indiana basketball. I mean, I don't want to dilute Branch McCracken. He was a great coach. He won 2 national titles. But Bob Knight, certainly, you think of Indiana, it will always be Bob Knight and what happened in that 30-year span. And everybody wants to get back there. And I think they can get back to success, but I don't know you can ever get back to Bob Knight, because Bob Knight was a once-in-a-lifetime genius. His mind, how it works good ways and bad, but the good ways towards basketball was genius level. You just don't get that.
Yeah. But here is a did you know, and I might surprise Robbie with this one. So did you know that Coach Knight did not grow up too far from where Robbie grew up in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio?
I didn't. I knew where he's from in Orville.
Yeah, so he grew up in Orville, and I grew up just in Cuyahoga Falls, which is not too far away. And ironically, where I grew up, it's funny, when he came to do an in-house, recruiting visit as, a junior, I had committed to IU as a sophomore verbally. And of course, you can't do anything from a documentation perspective until you're right before your senior year. So he did his in-house visit, and my dad, I grew up in the house that my father grew up in, and literally less than a block away was a park that was called Lions Park. And at that park is where, back in the day, all of the NBA players played outdoors. They didn't, in the summer they had jobs or whatever, and they would come play here. And so ironically, when he and my dad started talking, they shared all of these stories of how my dad was not a player, but he would go down to the park and watch all of these incredible names of that historic period, because they all came to that park to play. And so Knight had all of these stories of driving into essentially a block away from my house to play. And the other thing that a lot of people don't know, but if you go back and look at Knight's history, his first job out of Ohio State was a history teacher at my high school.
Yeah.
So he, which has always cracked me up, because when I was being recruited at Cuyahoga Falls, you can imagine now the parents that were the parents of my friends who had lived in that area, they all claimed they played for him. Which I don't know how you field a team of about 40 people, because every person had a story of how they performed. It was all garbage. But everybody wanted to have a story. And so, he was there for 1 year before heading over to Army.
That's crazy. I did know about the high school thing. I forgot. I didn't know it was your high school. I did not put that together. That is a cool story. Yeah. And those guys you mentioned, that probably Jerry Lucas, all those guys he played with at Ohio State. You talk about some of the NBA greats. So, and they're probably calling their friends. Man, that great day is for sure. But that is an incredible story.
I remember when I was in high school, there were still players that, the Cavaliers, Richfield Coliseum was not that far away. We used to play in my high school and at that park with guys like Mark Price and John Bagley, and a lot of guys would come out to play. Now, you would never see that happen today, although you occasionally see like Durant playing at a park or something. That occasionally happens today, but with the money these guys make, obviously they can't do that now. But it was an experience to have a chance to play against some of these guys.
Yeah, growing up, I remember the stories of the guys in a high school gym, whatever the local. There was always a spot, and it was a high school gym. It was a park, but there's always a spot in every place, man. And that's where it'd be. And you could go watch down in Louisville. It was, I forget the old gym, Crawford Gym they used to have. Hot, low ceiling, hot as blazes, just everybody has one of those places. And they're all the cool spots to play. But
I want to share this. When I was, and it didn't click in, but when I was younger, I would go home, Robbie, in the summertime back to Miami, and I would play against Steve Smith, who went to Michigan State. He was playing for the Miami Heat, and also Glenn Robinson, who would play at Michigan, right? So kind of similar ways we would play University of Miami. This is before they built up their campus, because it was like a rock throw away from my house. It was like a 10-minute walk. My doorstep to the campus, a 10-minute walk. So I would have a chance to play against those guys, not realizing the value of, former Big Ten players. You're getting a chance to play against professionals, right?
Yeah.
But good stuff. Yes, sir.